A slave or a servant, we're used to the fact that they would serve their master or mistress, but actually they relied on their master or mistress. Because if they were to have food and somewhere safe to live, that was given to them by their master or mistress. They had to depend on them. And the psalm says that in exactly the same way as that, we depend on our God. Now, I've got a bag here with some things that God provides for us that we need and that we should be relying on him for. Now, I've got an item and I want you to try and work out what this is showing that we receive from God. Okay? Here's the first one. It is a balloon, and just a clue, we can live without balloons, but there's something here that we can't live without. Anybody know what it is? Emily M. Oxygen, air is within this balloon. We need air in order to live. If God didn't provide the air that we breathe every moment of the day, we would not be able to live. Here's the next one. What have we got here that we need in order to be able to live? Isaac. Bread, well done. You're absolutely right. We depend on God for our food, our bread. Let's have another little look what we've got in here. What might this represent that God provides that we need each day? I'm going to come round here to Fleur. Clobber, clothing, and just having a little look at the label here, it says John Lewis. So God's so kind, not only clothing but fashion. It's brilliant. Let's see what else I've got in my, well, this is kind of related. What do we have here that God provides for us? Shoes! Whoever shouted that, I think, is Emmanuel. Absolutely right. Let's see the next one. What about this? That we need and that God provides for us. I'm going to go to Jasmine at the back here. You're absolutely right, somewhere to live. I don't know whether any of you are lucky enough to live in a house with a pink roof, but you may do. Let's have a little look what else I've got in here. What about this? What about this one? Julie. Water, absolutely right. The water we need to drink each day and to live, that comes from God. What about this one? It's a pack of cards, but a particular pack of cards that gives you a little clue. Amanda. Our family. This is the card game Happy Families. Not the whole of it, I have to say. There are parts missing. But our families are a great gift from God to help us to live. What about this one? Have a little look, see if you can work out what this is and what it might show that God provides for us.
Is it medicine?
It's not vitamin C. Now, anyone who's worked with me will know that I believe that vitamin C is the cure for everything. If you are ever poorly, lots of vitamin C, that's what you need. Here's the next one.
Bible.
We should know what this one is, I hope. Eva, do you want to tell us?
Bible.
Well done. God gives us the Bible so that we know what he's like and so that we know how he wants us to live. And then here's the last one that I've got. What might this show us that God provides for us?
Happiness.
Happiness and the things that we enjoy. We won't always be happy in our lives. God never promises us that. But the things that we enjoy and the good things that we have, they all come from him. So if I've done my maths right, there should be 10 things there that have come out of my bag and that I hope might fit back in my bag. When you came in, you should have received a piece of paper and a pencil. You've just seen 10 things that God provides that we can therefore depend on him for. Let's see how many of them you can remember and get down on your piece of paper. You have about a minute. So 10 things that we've seen. How many can you remember and get down on your bit of paper? The things that God provides that we depend on him for. Grown-ups, if you're struggling with your writing, you can do it with a child. You've got about 10 more seconds. Okay, put your hand up if you can remember 5 or more of the things. 5 or more, put your hands up. Put your hand up if you think you've got all 10. Oh, quite a lot. I am going to pick someone not at all at random. I'm going to get Jasmine to come out. Bring your list with you. You reckon you've got all 10, Jazz? Okay. Can you read out the list in a nice loud voice? And when she's doing it, if you've got them written down, you can tick them off. And if she's got any wrong or she's missing any, then I will ask you. Go for it.
Air, food, vitamin C, home, Bible, family, happiness, clothing, footwear, water.
Fantastic. Was that 10? Well done. Let's give Jasmine a big round of applause. Those were all spot on. Well done. Now, each of those things comes from God, and so we should depend on him. And remember, we can't just provide these things for ourselves. They're gifts from God because he loves us. So we should ask him for these things, and we should thank him for them as well. But in our Psalm 123, in verses 2 and 3, the writer of the psalm doesn't say that he depends on God for air or vitamin C or clothing or any of the things in our list. What is it that he's asking God for in verses 2 and verse 3? Have a look and see if you can work out what it is that the writer of the psalm is asking God for at the end of verse 2 and at the beginning of verse 3. And if you think you know or you're willing to have a guess, then stick up your hand. And I am going to come to Tom.
Okay, I'm better than you. Okay, be kind to us and give us mercy.
Be kind to us and give us mercy. The writer of the Psalms asking God to be kind. Actually, the literal word is mercy. And can anybody remember, or does anybody know, what that word mercy means? It's one of those little words in the Bible with a big meaning. What is it that word mercy means? Does anybody know? Alice's hand is up.
It means
means like take pity on someone.
Very good indeed, Alice. Take pity on us. Please would you take pity on us. Please would you give us something that we don't deserve. Now the reason, if you have a look at the psalm in verses 3 and 4, the reason that they were asking God for his mercy and for him to be kind is because other people were insulting them and other people were being cruel to them. Now, Jesus never promises us that following him will be easy. And there are times in our lives when in exactly the same way people will insult us. Sometimes people will insult us because we're followers of Jesus. Sometimes people will be cruel to us. And Jesus warns us that that will be the case. But if we're trusting in Jesus, our life should be shaped by mercy. Mercy in the past and mercy in the future. So, firstly, in the past, we can be sure of God's mercy, of him treating us in a much kinder way than we deserve to be treated in the past. Now, who can think, when can we look back to and go, oh, God treats me with mercy there? Can anybody think? It's a particular time when we know that God showed mercy. Ooh, that's got you. You don't have to be under 11 to put your hand up for this one. Oh, you don't have to be, but you can be. Go on, Alice.
He forgave our sins because, he forgave our sins.
Yeah, well done. He forgave our sins, and the way he was able to do that is because Jesus died for us. So we can look back in the past and go, look at God's mercy. I know that God's merciful because he loves me so much. He sent Jesus to die for me. So we can look back to mercy in the past where Jesus took all of our sins, and that of course for Jesus meant taking insults and people treating him cruelly, so that we can know God's mercy in the past. And that means that we can look forward to the future with great confidence. I don't know about you, but sometimes Christians worry and they think, I know that Jesus has died for me. And I know that when he died on the cross, he dealt with all of my sins. But I sometimes worry. If when Jesus comes back, God will really accept me or not. Because I know I keep doing things wrong. And I know that my life isn't how it should be. And I worry about whether God will really accept me. But we can look back to the cross and say, look, it was while we weren't God's friends, while we were his enemies, that Jesus died for us. And now, because of Jesus, we're God's friends. So we can look forward to Jesus coming back, or we die, whichever comes first, and say, I know that God will be merciful to me. Because Jesus died to make me God's friend, I know that I will receive God's mercy and be with him in heaven forever. We can look back to God's mercy with gratitude. We can look ahead to future mercy from God with confidence. And part of what it means to follow Jesus means to depend on God. Depend on God for all those things in the bag that we've thought about: our air, our water, our food, our clothing, our families, our houses, our happiness. But also to depend on God for his mercy shown to us in Jesus, and which we can be confident about in the future. We're going to sing two songs that think about God's mercy shown to us in Jesus and the confidence that those give us. One is in the songbook at number 67. The other is printed on your insert sheet. The first one, Come and See, is a song I think we know well as a church family. Oh, to See the Dawn is a little bit newer for us. We sang it on Good Friday, if you were with us then. But it's a wonderful song showing us what an amazing thing it was that Jesus died for us. We'll go straight from one song to the next. Let's stand to praise Jesus for his mercy to us.